exploring continents North America and South America. Learning objectives of this lesson are to understand the location, boundary and political divisions of North America and South America, to understand the physical features and drainage, to understand the climate, natural vegetation and wildlife of the continents, to discuss the resources, economic activities and cultural mosaic, to develop the skill of locating places on the map. Introduction. North and South America are often referred to as the New World because they were discovered in the late 15th century. In 1492, North America was discovered by Christopher Columbus while he was trying to find a new sea route to India. The landmass was named America in 1507 after the Italian explorer Amerigo Vespucci, who landed on the continent. Let's first see about North America, its location and area. The continent of North America lies between 7° north and 84° north latitude, which lie entirely in the northern hemisphere. The Tropic of Cancer, that is 23.5° north, passes through the Mexico, and the Arctic Circle, 66.5° north, runs through northern part of Canada. Longitudinally, it extends between 53° west and 180° west and lies entirely in Western Hemisphere. This continent has a great longitudinal extent which results in 7 time zones. North America covers an area of about 24,709,000 square kilometers, which occupies 16.50% of entire land area. Let's see the boundaries of North America. North America is surrounded by Pacific Ocean in the west, the Atlantic Ocean in the east, Arctic Ocean in the north, and South America in the south. The North America is joined with South America by the Isthmus of Panama. The Bering Strait separates North America from Asia. Do you know, children, the isthmus is a narrow stretch of land joining two large land masses. Strait, a narrow stretch of water joining two large water bodies. Let's see the political division of North America. North America is the third largest continent next to Asia and Africa. North America has 3 large countries and several smaller ones. Canada is largest country of North America, followed by the United States of America and Mexico. The 7 small countries which lies to the south of Mexico are referred to as Central America. These include Nicaragua, Honduras, Guatemala, Panama, Costa Rica, El Salvador and Belize. Let's see the physiography of North America. North America is a continent of great physical diversity. Mount McKinley is about 6,194 meters above the sea level and is the highest peak. Death Valley is about 86 meters below the sea level and is the lowest part of the continent of North America. It has some of the oldest and youngest rocks in the world. On the basis of physiography, North America can be classified into the following physical divisions. First, the Rocky Mountain, second, the Great Plains, third, the Appalachian Highlands, and the fourth, coastal plains. Let's see the first physical division, the Rocky Mountains. The western part of the continent is occupied by long ranges of young folded mountains interspersed with the high plateaus, narrow valleys, and broad interior basins. The mountain range extends for about 4,800 km from Alaska in the north to the Panama Strait in the south. The width varies from 110 to 480 kilometers. They are parallel ranges and are known as the Rockies in the east and Coast Range Mountains in the west. The Sierra Nevada is a mountain range in the western United States between the Central Valley of California and the Great Basin. In Mexico, they are called Sierra Madre. The Rockies and the Coast Range are together called the Western Cordilleras. There are high intermountain plateaus between the ranges. The prominent ones are the Mexican Plateau, the Colorado Plateau and the Colombian Plateau. Do you know, children, the Cordilleras are also part of the fire ring of the Pacific because there are a number of active volcanoes and this area is also subject to earthquakes. Next we are going to see the second type of physical division, Great Plains. To the east of Rockies and the west of Appalachian Mountains lies the Great Plains of North America. It covers about 3/5 of the continent. This plain stretches from Arctic Ocean in the north and Gulf of Mexico in the south. The western part of plains is called the High Plains, spreading roughly over the foothills of the Rockies. Most of the rivers of this region have their source in the western highlands and the plains generally slope eastwards and southwards. They are drained by the rivers like Mississippi and the Missouri. Next we are going to see the third type of physical division, Appalachian Highlands. These highlands are low and wide. They have a very few peaks, more than 1800 meters. They include the high plateaus of Greenland, Labrador and Laurentian Plateau in Canada and the Appalachian Mountain in the United States. These old fold mountains are worn down by weathering and are much lower than western highlands. This region is rich in mineral reserves like coal, iron ore, copper, etc., which play a vital role in North American economy. And the last type of physical division is the coastal plains. The coastal plains of North America are youngest in age. Most of the Atlantic plain has been drawn, that is, lies underwater. This is low and relatively plain area with sandy soil which is infertile in nature. Here, swamps and marshes are abundant and the coast is indented by river mouths and bays on which many important seaports are located. Next, we are going to see the drainage, that is the flowing of river in North America. The Mississippi and Missouri rivers are the longest rivers in the North America. They together form the fourth longest river system in the world, stretching more than 614 km from Montana to Gulf of Mexico. After 3,700 km running, the Missouri River joins the Mississippi River. The Mackenzie River is the second largest drainage basin of North America. It has a source from Great Slave Lake and drains into Arctic Ocean. St. Lawrence has its origin in Lake Ontario, which flows northeast and drains into Atlantic Ocean. The plateau of the west has been cut deeply by the river Columbia and its tributaries, which forms many gorges called canyons. These rivers form a barrier to communication but whose water has been dammed for irrigation and power. The river Yukon, rising in the northwest of the western mountain system, is frozen for 8 months in the year. The river Rio Grande flows into the Gulf of Mexico and forms the boundary between USA and Mexico. Next, we are going to see the climate of North America. The vast latitudinal extent from the tropics to the polar region makes the climate of North America as varied as that of Asia. The Arctic region is cold and mostly dry and has a very short summers and very long bitterly cold winter. The central plains have extreme climate from freezing conditions in winter to tropical heat in summer. The regions around the mouth of Mississippi, Missouri and the Gulf Coast have summer rain from northeast trades which blow onshore in summer. The state of California in USA has a Mediterranean climate with moist winter and dry summers. Next, we'll see the natural vegetation of North America. Approximately 30% of the total land area is under forest cover. Lumbering is a well-developed industry, particularly in Canada. North America is the major producer of timber, plywood, wood pulp and paper. It accounts for approximately 20% of the world production of timber. Next, we'll see about agriculture in North America. America's agriculture is most productive in the world. Both Canada and USA are the major exporter of wheat than the other countries of the world. Wheat, corn or maize, oats, soybean, barley and many other food crops are grown throughout the vast interior plains. Let's see the agricultural crops of North America. Wheat. Wheat was introduced by European settlers in North America. It is grown extensively in the prairies of North America. North America is the largest exporter of wheat. Vast wheat producing area are called wheat belt. Next is maize or corn. It is the native food crop of North America, which is the main staple food grains in Mexico. It is grown in southern prairies of North America. North America producing more than half of the world's total maize. Next is barley and oats. These are temperate crops which withstand cold climate and need less water. The barley is grown in the United States and produced in Minnesota, North Dakota and Washington. Barley and oats is used as cattle fodder. Next is cotton. Cotton grows well in southern and western states. It is dominated in Texas, California, Mississippi, south of prairies and the Mexico. Warm summer with frequent rainfall and fertile soil are favorable conditions for the growth of cotton crop. Next, we are going to see sugarcane. Sugarcane is cultivated along the Gulf of Mexico, parts of Central America and West Indies. It is an important cash crop of West Indies. Cuba is known as the sugar bowl of the world and it is the world's largest exporter of sugar. Next is soybeans. It is raised in the same area where maize is grown. It is used for the extraction of edible oil. Next, we are going to see potatoes and sugar beet. Prairie region, North Dakota and Minnesota are the producers of sugar beets and potato. Sugar beet is used for making sugar. Potato and sugar beet are used to feed cattle and pigs. Finally, we are going to see about fruits. Mainly citrus fruits are cultivated in Texas, California, Great Lakes region and St. Louis.